Hey, thanks for stopping by my channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at how we can access information on an internal network through a server-side request forgery. The way this is going to work is we're going to actually be able to access ports that we're not able to access from the outside of the network, but because we're able to make internal requests through the server-side request forgery, making it look like we are on the internal network, we're able to enumerate different ports and files and information from the server and within the network. And for this specific box, it is going to give us an email and a password. Okay, so here we are. I have opened up the box Katoric and I've gone ahead and went to port 60,000 right here. And we are told we can surf the web anonymously, but we're not to abuse it, which is exactly what we are going to do. So the first thing we can do, because we know what we are going after, is type in something, and then we will catch this in the repeater. So we can type in something just like this, open up burp, intercept on, submit, send to repeater, and we can turn this off, and it should have our path for us right here. And if you send this, it will hang for a little while because there's nothing there, so we're not actually going to worry too much about that. And before we go ahead and check out this SSRF, what I did the first time, because we have this URL and then this path right here, there's two things you could check for when you see a URL. Is you can think SSRF. If this parameter right here is page or path or file, you can think local file inclusion. So I actually checked for local file inclusion first, and then because this URL is right here, I thought SSRF. So if we come over here and we type in HTTP, and then we type in 127.0.0.1, and then because we're on port 60,000, we can type in this right here and send it, and we will eventually, once this loads, get back a response. And our response has come back, and that might take a while if you are following along. And so we have this right here, and I'm actually going to send a second one to repeater just so we have it. And now what we could do is, because there are ports sometimes open on an internal network that we're not able to access, we can go ahead and fuzz this parameter right here, and we'll use fuff for this. So we can go to our terminal and we can just type in fuff, and we'll leave what is here. This is fine. We'll change this to opt seclist. I think it's fuzzing and number 3. So we got these digits here that we're going to fuzz through, and we can just delete all of this, and we can say 127.0.0.1, and we want, actually, we'll type in fuzz right here, but we need to add in the actual URL with the parameter to go right here. And so if we hit enter, we get told the job is complete, which it should not go quite so fast. I see I accidentally put too many T's right there, and this is hanging. And the first time I did this box, I ran into this problem, and I wanted to show this to you just because sometimes you don't need to give up but change your path. So we have this 127.0.0.1, and you should know that also what works instead of that is you can just go local host, and if we run this, it should change for us and start to run. Okay, what I think we'll do is try and put this in quotations, because we have this question mark in here that is being highlighted, and that worked for us. And we can filter out by the words, so we can go filter W, and we'll use 1 because we have one word. And so if we run this, now it should run for us. Okay, and it has started to run. I didn't change anything. It just eventually decided it wanted to work. So now what we can do is come over to burp and come to our repeater, and we can start to paste in these ports and see if anything comes back. On this port 8888, if you look through the HTML, you can see we have these different pages in here, and we have the PNG, column, generic images. We have this doc right here, and then we hit this doc backup right here, and it's a href, which would mean that it is a link we could check out on this page. So we'll go ahead and paste it in here and visit this page, and it doesn't work. So we might need to URL encode this, and because this box is so laggy, it might actually take a minute for it to pop up for me. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and hit Control U for URL encode, stop and resend it. And we get the page back. And if we scroll down through here, we can see we have the admin and the password. Okay, so this box does feel very CTF-y whenever you're walking through it, but it does have some really good enumeration within the SSRF that you could possibly come across if you're doing a penetration test on a network. And on their internal network, they have ports open that you can reach only from within the network, and you're able to use this SSRF to look like you're coming from within the network and access these ports and what is happening on them. Now, obviously, you're probably not going to come across a password and username like we saw in this box, but you might be able to find some information that will be really helpful to you. And I'm sure the company that you're doing the penetration test on will be happy that you were able to find this. But also, things like this are helpful to be aware of. If you're doing any kind of certification, you may actually see something like this on a certification exam. A lot of people like to think certifications and the exams are not very CTF-y, but that's really not true. A lot of the exams and courses are going to have very capture the flag feels to them. And so it's good to practice things like this server-side request forgery along with this further enumeration of the network. And so with that, I will see you in the next video.